Welcome everyone. Today we will speak about a topic, the attraction for Krishna. In the material world, the conditioned souls have forgotten this attraction, and instead of being attracted by Krishna, they are attracted by insignificant objects. That is why their qualities cannot manifest. And instead, there is ignorance. And as long as this attraction is not awakened, then we cannot understand what is our eternal nature. So in proportion that this attraction is covered or awakened, then we can understand something.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Disham yagitam tam manongavardhanam Prajam Sriyam Krishnam Giritam Manasam Arjumum Nyaham Alakshitum Dhamyam Sayatra Canto Javalo Lakundala.
When the young girls of Vrindavan heard the melody of Krishna's flute, which awakens romantic feelings, their mind were captivated by the Lord. They went there where the lover was waiting without being conscious of the others. They were moving so quickly that their earrings were swaying from front and back. Purport. The young girls of Braj, having their minds attracted and absorbed in Krishna, due to his attractive nature, obtained a new youthfulness. As soon as they heard the sound of the flute, they went towards him. So I will comment.
Magyanati milam dasya kyanam jalam shalokaya shakshur meditam chena taisme shigolave namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Plistaya Bhutare Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Sarasvati Deve Kaulavani Prachaline Nirveshesha Sunyavadi Prachatya Deshathaline Vanchakalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasaji Gola Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Je suis content que vous soyez là.
I'm happy to find you here.
Bientôt je serai plus avec vous.
Soon I will not be with you,
Mais il faut en profiter.
but we have to
Parfois,
take the moment. Sometimes,
quelque chose toujours,
when we always have something,
alors on
then
devient habitué, on néglige.
we become habituated and we neglect.
On aurait pu prendre beaucoup de temps
We'd
pour s'enquérir
have,
de la vérité.
we could have taken a lot of time to inquire about the truth, and finally,
L'opportunité.
we lost the opportunity. So it is retracted to us. This is how Radha and Krishna do.
Après, vous avez pu saisir.
And after it's finished.
Parce que vous saisissez pas
Because you do not
l'importance de l'association.
realize the importance of the association.
C'est très rare
It is really
de
rare
pouvoir s'associer avec des
to be able to associate with Vaishnavas.
Mais c'est très difficile
But
de
it is
comprendre le Vaishnava.
very difficult to understand the Vaishnavas
Parce que
because
leur nature
their
interne est
internal nature is covered.
Parce que Krishna
Because Krishna
cache la nature
hides
du Vaishnava.
the nature of the Vaishnava.
Il n'y a que le parfait disciple
Only the perfect disciple
qui peut comprendre
can
la nature d'un Vaishnava.
understand the nature of a
Et
Vaishnava
l'approcher
and approach him
avec humilité.
with humility, with love,
Qui lui donne
so that he gives one
les
his
disciples
jewels.
ordinaires, ils font pas ça.
The ordinary disciples, they don't do this. They're not interested.
Ils progressent pas.
That's why they don't progress.
Ils ont beau avoir une association,
They can have physical association, but it is useless
ils sont pas intéressés.
because they're not interested.
Donc les Vaishnavas,
So the Vaishnava leaves
parce qu'ils ont besoin de donner leur cœur.
because they need to give their heart.
Si vous ne savez pas le prendre,
If you don't know how to take
alors
it,
les Vaishnavas vont ailleurs.
then the Vaishnava goes somewhere else. It's like that they do.
Et parce que
And
cette
because
sensation
this feeling
de souffrance à
of
cause de
suffering,
ne pas pouvoir donner,
because of not being able to give
Krishna et
Krishna and love for Krishna,
alors
then
Krishna
Krishna
arrange
arranges
quelque chose
something
pour que le Vaishnava puisse donner.
for the Vaishnava to be able to
Ça,
give.
c'est le secret.
This is the
Vous
secret.
n'avez pas l'avidité,
If you do not have greed,
vous ne
eagerness,
pouvez pas vous associer. Même
then you
si
cannot
physiquement,
associate. Even
le
physically,
Vaishnava est là,
even if the Vaishnava is
vous
there,
allez voir rien.
you cannot see anything or nor receive anything.
Parce que vous voyez le Vaishnava
Because you
comme un
see,
être ordinaire.
you see the Vaishnava as an ordinary
C'est pour
being.
ça que vous l'approchez.
That is why you don't approach him to have the jewels,
Parce que vous pensez que vous êtes au même niveau.
because you think you are at the same
Ça,
level.
c'est la plus grande
And this is the greatest pain for a spiritual master.
grande douleur.
There's no greater pain.
C'est pour ça que vous
That is why the Guru leaves.
n'avez pas plus grande douleur.
There's no greater pain.
Alors,
So,
Krishna,
Krishna,
lorsqu'on
when
devient éveillé
we become awakened
par la douce association
by
avec les Vaishnavas,
the sweet association with the Vaishnavas,
et les Vaishnavas,
and the
leur
Vaishnavas, their
association,
association is not physical.
elle est
It is
au cœur.
in the heart.
C'est quelque chose qui est très important.
It is something that is really
Parce que
important.
la présence physique,
Because the physical presence,
on peut voir des défauts
we can see faults
dans les Vaishnavas,
in the
la
Vaishnavas
façon de se comporter.
and the way of behaving,
Parce que la nature
because
matérielle
material nature
fait que
makes it that
lorsqu'on prend une naissance,
when we take a birth,
l'aspect
the
ne peut pas être parfait,
aspect that comes out cannot be perfect
à moins
unless
que Krishna décide
Krishna
de mettre
decides
son dévot
to make his devotee take
dans une
birth
famille parfaite,
in a perfect family, in a perfect situation.
Parfois,
But sometimes
Krishna préfère
Krishna
mettre son
can
dévot
make his devotee take birth
pire.
in the worst situation.
Mais
But
même si
even
il est dans
if
la situation
he is in the worst
il est le
situation,
dévot éternel.
he is the eternal devotee of the Supreme Lord.
Et même si
And even if externally he seems to be ordinary, internally
peut se connecter
he can connect himself with Braj. and have the vision of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, which are his gurus. The world of Krishna, Braj, is a land of gurus, because all are more beautiful one from the others, and one more qualified one from the others. We will never find conflicts in Braj, never, but simply a glorification that is superior towards one and the others. That is why the love of ones enters into the other, stimulates their love, and the love that is stimulated enters within him and stimulates his love. There's no lack of love like in this world. In this world, a woman looks for a man and cry, "Oh, when will a man come? When will a man come?" And when the man comes, finally it's only problems. And it doesn't bring much, except the cycle of birth and death. It is a reality. If we take birth in this world, it's because we attach to ourselves to a man and a woman, and at the end of our life, we thought about that person. And this is this remembrance that made us take birth again. This is the truth. There's some that can understand this, and some that don't understand it. It's like that. But when we understand this truth, and we start to absorb ourselves in our eternal nature by the grace of Guru Gauranga, then we can have what we call the darshan, this divine vision of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. And this divine vision allows us to understand what we are looking for before it is not possible. It's really elevated, but it is possible if we are sincere. But we need a total sincerity, because in this world there's only total love. So if you do not have total love, you cannot see anything. That is why it is something that is gradual, and it starts with the association with Vaishnavas. By the association with Vaishnavas, we understand to be a devotee and to be engaged in devotional service. When we engage ourselves in devotional service, we purify our heart. And at a certain point, then we receive the initiation from a Vaishnava, and if we are sincere, then we receive everything. So this is our good fortune, greed. Without greed, even if we're initiated, initiation is there, but it's like waiting, like an expectation. You see, when you hear a music, you can put on pause. Everything is given to you, but if the eagerness is not there, it will not manifest. And instead, you can even develop a greed for something material and cry for material things. This is misfortune. It is like a dry land, which can arid land that you cannot put anything on it. Even if you hear about Krishna, even if you see the deity of Krishna, even if you see pure devotees, nothing is happening. Why? Because there's a duplicity in the heart of the disciple. Because the disciple desires something else. It is one secret. But Krishna, he knows this. So he cannot reciprocate. Because in his world, there's only one thing that exists, is that he gives himself, and his devotee gives himself to him. So if there's another secret, Krishna cannot appear. It is not his fault, because you're not ready. So, if there's no attraction for Krishna, Krishna cannot give himself to us. Although there is an eternal relationship, but because there are material coverings, and because you have material desires, then there's no vision, there's no meeting, there's no love. And it is a life We do not say it is lust, but it will give birth to a new life to evolve. Because in this state, what will we do in this world of love, where we do not have a desire except to love? You understand? So, naturally, there is a process that makes it that this love will increase gradually. But if our attitude is bad, we criticize, we envy others, living entities, we hurt living entities, then it takes time, so much time. Because from one side, we want love, and from another side, we continue to act in a bad way, in a nasty way. And this is the problem. It is that in our duality, we will want to attain this world of love, and at the same time, we want a position in this world. Because if we criticize, it is to get a position. If we criticize, it's because we want to be superior to others, because we are interested in this world. So, this lack of interest, it comes gradually. The more we are attracted by the world of Krishna, and more we become unmotivated, uninterested by this world. But there's no other means. It cannot be any other way. Our illusion must disappear at one point. Otherwise, if we go to the Krishna's world, we'll bring it with us. But we do not even bring our objects of illusion in Krishna's world. Where will be our sons, our husbands, our possessions, our belongings? In next life, we already know this. We don't bring any of these things. So when we understand this, we become serious in spiritual life. That means we engage our attachments for Krishna's pleasure. In this way, we are purified. Because when we act out of love for Krishna to the living entities that are around us, Krishna appears. This is the secret. It's not that we will close the door and there are people now and no, go away, go away. You rascals. The little baby that is 8 months is not his fault. It's you who wanted that. And he comes according to your desires. There's a living that comes according to your consciousness. You understand? So, we must engage this life for Krishna. In this way we purify it. And when Krishna appears, then we do things out of love for Krishna. This is detachment. It's not that we leave necessarily the place, but we leave the consciousness in which we saw the environment. And in this way, Krishna comes in our lives. And it happens in the heart, which means that even if living entities around us don't understand anything, we enter into Krishna's world inside of ourselves, within ourselves, by the fact that Krishna already inhabits our heart. And when we are positive for a relationship of love with the Lord, then He becomes happy and He makes arrangements for that, for our love to increase. So how things are happening, it is different for each one. For certain, it is very quick. Krishna takes away everything. And for others, He acts differently. It's like that. But Krishna doesn't force anybody. Because He is a person that is in love. And also, He is not interested by illusion. If you want illusion, Krishna accompanies you, but behind. You cannot even hear Him. You cannot even feel His presence. Neither smell His fragrance, the love that He has for you, because He will not disturb you. And He follows you. It's very mystical, the super soul. And when you suffer, He observes you. He wants to see you, but you're not ready. Because you cry without understanding the nature of your suffering. Krishna is there.
Et à un moment,
And at one point,
parce que Krishna,
because Krishna is present everywhere in the form of His name, of His mercy,
lorsqu'on touche
when we touch things that are connected to Krishna, then
il va avoir une
He will,
qui va venir.
there will be an intelligence that will come and we will be able, when we suffer, try to understand, why am I suffering? Why am I suffering?
Et on va se rappeler
And we will remember
cet ami.
this friend.
Ça se fait
It happens
petit niveau.
at a small level.
C'est la première étape.
It is the first step of faith.
Parce
It's
que
very
quand
small
on a un
because
problème,
since we have a problem,
on va prier
we will pray
quelqu'un
someone
qui puisse agir.
that can
On
act
n'a pas la possibilité
because
de
we
s'en
do not have the possibility to get out of it.
Parce qu'on a touché
And because we have touched
à la miséricorde du Seigneur,
the mercy of the Lord,
forme de cette
it comes in the form of this faith. Before it was not possible. We were suffering, but we could not even pray,
même pensée.
not even think.
Et là,
And then
on commence
we start
à ressentir
to
qu'il y a
feel
quelque chose.
that there is something.
C'est tellement petit,
And but it is so small
pas sûr.
that we're not even certain, so much it is small.
Mais c'est tout petit.
It is a minute attraction,
Comprendre.
but we cannot understand it.
Peut-être
But we say, maybe it exists. I will try.
c'est tout petit,
It's very small,
vraiment petit.
very small.
Tout le monde commence par.
Everyone starts with this.
Et graduellement,
And gradually,
ça augmente.
it increases
Au point
to the point
où on va donner notre vie.
where we will give our lives
On va juste exister.
and will just live for
Et
Him.
à ce moment-là,
And at that moment,
on existe pour
Krishna lives for us. This is
nous.
when
L'amour commence à nous.
love starts to come.
Et puisque Krishna
And since Krishna comes in our lives, there is attraction
et
and
détachement.
detachment.
Parce que Krishna est
Because
tellement beau,
Krishna is so beautiful.
tellement qualifié,
He has so many qualities. It is so good to be with Him that everything is so small compared to Him. So we become completely detached and we want to be with Him always. But we become extremely merciful towards everyone
parce qu'on devient
because we become detached
et on comprend que
and we understand that nobody can give us this joy.
on veut plus
So we don't envy or have any problem with anybody. So whether someone is bad or good, beautiful or ugly,
intelligent.
intelligent or
Ça
stupid,
n'a plus de problème.
it doesn't have any problems
On cherche plus
because we don't search
à exploiter ce
to exploit this
monde.
world
On a renoncé à ce monde.
or even to renounce this world
L'amour est-
because love appeared within us.
Et là, c'est très difficile.
And then it's very difficult to understand a person
L'amour est apparu.
when love appeared
Parce que il va
because
agir
one will act
spontanément
spontaneously
cet amour.
in regard to this love.
Mais il est toujours situé
But one is
dans sa vérité.
always situated in one's truth.
Or,
However,
lorsqu'on entre dans
when
ce
we
monde,
enter in this transcendental world,
on peut
we-
avoir une vision,
we can have a vision,
même si elle est toute petite,
even it is very small,
de la grandeur
of
des tempêtes.
the greatness of the inhabitants of Vrindavan.
Et
And
il y a cette histoire
there is this story
que Krishna, quand
That
il était à Dwarka,
when Krishna was in Dwarka,
il envoya Uddhava.
he sent Uddhava.
Et Uddhava, c'est
And Uddhava is not an ordinary being,
l'ami de Krishna.
he is Krishna's
Son
friend,
ami intime.
he is his intimate friend.
Mais Krishna a
But
dit
Krishna
que-
has different abodes.
Et à Dwarka,
And in Dwarka,
c'est pas le Krishna.
it is not the original Krishna, it is an expansion of Krishna.
Et
And
lorsqu'il est
when
parti de Vrindavan,
one left, when Krishna left Vrindavan, if we can say, that means he ceased to be visible to inhabitants of Vrindavan.
les habitants
The inhabitants
du village de Krishna,
of Krishna's
des
village
environs,
or the surroundings became
extrêmement
extremely
affligés par la
afflicted
séparation de Krishna.
by separation from Krishna.
Et Krishna
And Krishna, he promised to come back.
mais pour soulager
But to soothe
ces habitants,
these inhabitants, he had prepared
Uddhava, il
himself. And Uddhava, he looks like Krishna.
donc il a une beauté extraordinaire.
So he has an extraordinary beauty.
Et aussi,
And also,
Krishna l'avait vêtu d'une
Krishna
certaine manière
dressed him in a certain way so that he really looked like him. And so he came on a chariot full of gold, a golden chariot. And when the first thing he saw was a normal day. And in Braj, when Krishna is present, everything is so beautiful. The butterflies, they fly in the air out of love for Krishna. The breeze blows out of love for Krishna. The flowers, they blossom out of love for Krishna. Everything is so wonderful. Each step is a dance. Each word is a wonderful poem. Everything is so beautiful. Even the words that for us are harsh are love. Expressions of love. Even the stones, they have love. It has nothing to do with this world. And when Uddhava arrived, he saw this extraordinary love. It was a celebration, like a firework of love. So much the living entities were beautiful. So much this love for Krishna accompanied them. It is something that is unimaginable. And all of a sudden, he was able to see the devastation. And this devastation was something that was inconceivable. The more greater even than the universal devastation. And when he was able to approach, for example, the Krishna's father and mother, he had as a mission to give them hope again. But in reality, since Krishna left, their life left with them. And simply, they were alive. Because Krishna told them, I will come back. I promise you, I will come back. And so, although they almost died, they were burning of separation. They were carried away by waves, such high waves. It was unbearable. And still, since he said he will come back, they could not die. They were thinking within themselves. And when they arrived at the verge of death, they thought, but if Krishna comes and I'm not there anymore and I will suffer, he will suffer. So their desire to die came out and they started again doing their duties, thinking about Krishna. And Uddhava, when he arrived, when he saw all of that, he saw such love. He never saw such love. Never. But he said to himself, I must do this mission for Krishna. And so he started to want to convince to Nanda Maharaj, because Mother Yashoda could not see, could not even speak. She was like a statue. She was petrified out of love for Krishna. And his plan was to convince them that Krishna was God, that they didn't have to lament. Because Krishna was all-powerful, omnipresent, omnipotent. But the more Uddhava was trying to convince them that that Krishna was God, the more he was seeing how Krishna depended upon the breast of his mother. How simply he was stealing the food from the gopis. He was smiling and laughing. And simply, it would increase their love for Krishna in sweetness. So Uddhava, when he saw the love of the father and the mother of Krishna increasing, he could not understand. And so he became a student. He came to teach because he had a certain pride, because he is Krishna's most intimate friend in Dwarka. But when he arrived in Braj, his hat of pride fell down in front of a mountain, unlimited mountain of sweetness. And he became the student. This is a mercy of Krishna. It is that he allowed for Uddhava to progress. And so much he became impressed by their love that he just prayed to become a little plant in Braj, a little creeper in a small air place to receive the dust of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So, Krishna is the supreme object of attraction. That's why we say Krishna. Krishna means the all attractive. And how is that possible that we chant Hare Krishna? That the name of Krishna is none different than Krishna, but we're not attracted. It is because we have desires. Our goal is not to be with Krishna. It is somewhere else. That is why, because when we chant, we are not interested to be with Him. We do not have desires for Him. So, there is no connection, and we sleep. It is unfortunate, but it is like that. That is why the glories of the Lord, enunciated from the mouth of the Vaishnavas, have the power to remove this ignorance. Because when we have a little fortune, auspiciousness, when we hear the glories of the Lord, then we hit our heart like that. Oh, I'm so unfortunate, I am so unfortunate. And then the nature of our desire will change. If we're unfortunate, we will think the contrary. But what do these Vaishnavas tell us? That I am unfortunate? Still my bank account is full of money. How am I unfortunate? And we'll be angry. So, according to our capacity to love Krishna, then we hear in a different way the words of the Vaishnavas. So I wanted to speak about the attraction of the gopis, but it came out differently. But I just want to explain a small sentence. This purport must have 30 phrases, and we can write a whole book. So much it is deep. These are the words of Vishwanath and Sanatan Goswami. The young girls of Braj, having their minds attracted and absorbed in Krishna, due to his attractive nature, obtain a new youthfulness. So what can we understand to end? What is a new youthfulness? It is that the meeting with Krishna manifests in the living being all his best qualities, because Krishna is Madhava. He is considered to be the spring, like the one who blossoms everything. So when Krishna called the gopis, through the sound of his flute, each gopi could hear their name and the call that Krishna was sending her. And so all their beauty and their qualities blossomed, and they were running out of this love that they could not even understand. They were running, taken away, carried away like a hurricane, and their earrings were swaying, because the earrings in Braj are persons. They are in perfect harmony with the heart of the gopis and their feelings. But I won't go further. Hari Bol.